Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with another Shadowverse deck and gameplay video. Today I wanted to go back to Sofina Amulet Haven. Now I know I did a video pretty recently on this deck, but that was more for Elana hybrid version. This one is like purely an amulet version of the deck. Of course this is because there's the recent buffs to Saren from 5 cost to 4 cost. And Saren is a card that synergizes well with amulets, so I want to feature this deck. Of course, Saren, the buff is pretty relevant with this deck because you could just play Saren for 1 cheaper, so you could do some like more combos with it, and she's just a lot more usable in the build now. So with this deck, as you can see, the main parts of it is pretty much the same. You want to be playing your crystallized amulets on curve, so you have like Calm Feather Folk on 1, into Master Educator on 2, into like Feather Sanctuary on 3, and then like on turn 5 you play the Sofina. It's going to buff them all up. They're going to have that protective bubble, so they're going to take 3 damage at a time, and your opponent can't deal with it. Will be hard for your opponent to deal with, and then you could just overwhelm them from there. Some differences is obviously you can see that there's no Elanas in this deck, so we're not running any heals. The reason why we're not running Elanas, and I definitely think you could definitely still be using Elanas, is that she just kind of gets clunky on your board when you evolve her, and then you have like the Elana amulet on the board. So it does make things a little bit harder, especially because you have so many amulet cards that you need to put on your board. So it does kind of take up the board space. And so instead of like Elanas and the healing stuff, as you can see, we have cards like Garuda. So Garuda doesn't get ramped up too much, but if you get him up to like, you only need him to get up to like 3 or a bit more, maybe 4 is a good number, and then you pull your Feather Sanctuary out, you get like Saren or Grey Wing out. It's just like pretty decent card. So it's not like a broken card that you could probably build Garuda maybe in the future if there's more amulet support, but it's just kind of like a more mid-rangey temple card in the deck that just kind of synergizes well. Another addition that I have that I overlooked last time in my previous Sofina deck was Goddess of the West Wind. So her ability is put 2 different Havencraft followers with original attack of 2 or less from your deck into play. So the only followers that it will pull out is Sofina plus Grey Wing. So you have a very good combo with Goddess on turn 6. It's actually a really strong combo because the Sofina is going to give all your you get 3 followers with 1 card, and they're all going to have the can't take more than 3 damage at a time, and Grey Wing is a storm card, so it's just pretty good. So you could get burst damage with this deck because you do have like crystallized cards like the Grey Wing and the Feather Sanctuary that comes out, and then you have Gabriel to buff them up, so you could get your burst damage in from there. There's no like OTK combo with this deck at all, but like Havencraft wasn't a deck that's OTKing people anyways. 3 copies of the World, because with this deck you are just having your early turns where you're setting up amulets, so you might just get smorked by more aggressive decks or mid-rangey decks. So the World is going to be live quite often in my opinion, so its fanfare is going to be quite useful. You might think, oh, there's like no 2-drops in this deck. It's just because your 2-drops are your crystallized cards, so like your Master Educator or the Grey Wing are both 2 play points on crystallized. And yeah, 1 copy of Resolve the Fallen just as a tech card, just because like as you can see, everything's a 3 of, so you have to have 1 of here, which is the Resolve. And yeah, this is the build. It's still a work in progress in my opinion, but I played a couple games with it and it was kind of cool, the things they could do, especially if you draw the right cards on the right turn. But yeah, if you have any opinions on how you would improve like a Sofina and Amulet heavy version of this deck, leave a comment down below in the description, and not in the description, leave a comment down below. And also let me know what you guys think about the recent buffs. Like, do you think the buffs were good? Were they not enough? Should they have buffed something else instead? Let me know. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Shadowverse content. Like the video if you enjoyed this video, and enjoy the games guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Alright, Runecraft, probably going to be Dirt Rune. If he has Madcap Conjuration, that feels really bad. This is a pretty good hand though. I think we could actually full keep it. Golden Bell 1. We don't have anything to do on turn 2 though. That's the only thing. But we could first Sanctuary on 3. I'm going to set up this actually, because if I Sanctuary on 3 and then draw into Sofina, that's going to be pretty strong. Yeah, but my deck kind of just leads us to Madcap Conjuration, so it just depends if he has Madcap or not. The Sofina would actually be pretty good at stopping Vergewalker from clearing. Okay, so there's the Sofina actually. On turn 5, we're going to get the Calm Featherfolk and the Fairy Sanctuary out, so it's not too bad. Next turn we could Major Prayers. We actually get to draw a lot of cards over the next 2 turns with Golden Dawn and the Major Prayers. Dogma. Okay, we have a second Sofina, so if he has a Madcap Conjuration, maybe we could set up a second board. It'd be a bit hard though to set up a second board. This board's kind of like, make one board, see if your opponent can deal with it. If they can, then you just kind of lose. Alternatively, we could play the Educator here. I think we want to be going for this. Like, this is just kind of strong. Say if he has a Vergewalker here, 3/3. I don't think there's any point in trading, right? Yeah, there's no point in trading, because he's just going to trade for me if he has a Vergewalker to clear the board. And it's going to take up most of his turn, so I might as well get the 4 damage in. Next turn it's kind of hard to set up the... Okay, it doesn't look like he has a Vergewalker then. Nice, no Vergewalker and no Madcap Conjuration on my Sofina turn. It's really big, such a big deal. You have to just double trade here. I think I could even play Gabriel next turn just to jack up my Sofina some more, make it harder for him to deal with. We know that next turn he has a Golem. We could also just play the Goddess here. Goddess on curve is actually just really strong. Dr. Six. Yeah, so if he had like a Madcap, he definitely would have played it last turn, I think. Maybe. He might have been baiting me to play more. No, it's just Golem here. Oh, triple 3/3s. Okay, I'm going to be able to activate the World. He's out of Evos too now, so the Vergewalker's not a threat anymore. I think I actually want to set up the Grey Featherfolk, because when the countdown comes up, I could just Gabriel it. I won't take the trade here with the 2/6 because it's not clearing anything. It's actually a bad value trade. How much is his Dark Mage actually? Right now it's at 10. It went up, so it's 11 right now. This is just Lisa, right? Oh no. Actually, we could go Dogma, double trait. So I give it plus. I'm still one off. Wow, I'm actually still one off there. If I Sofina, like Dogma plus Sofina, is that's actually lethal actually. The Sofina buff was actually really clutch. Almost missed lethal. Okay, Forest. It's probably Terraformer. Actually, against Terraformer, we have Sofina, which gives all my followers wards if I can set it up. If I play Garuda on 5 and be greedy, he gets to go his turn 6, so I have to just play Sofina on 5. So we just have to try to hit into a good curve for the Sofina on 5. And then maybe that's good enough. But he might be able to just stall the game longer and get to the point where he could just kill me at some point. But drawing into a second Sofina is pretty good here. So if I could always be like pressuring Sofinas and make it just hard for him. And we have the Fairy Sanctuary. So similar to like our last game, we are going to be able to set the Calm Fair Folk into the Sanctuary, which is pretty good going into turn 5. Harvest Season. Okay, so it might actually be like Bug Bros or Roach or something. Or it could just be something else, but I guess it's going to be Roach to some capacity. Skipper. Go Major Prayers here. I actually killed this 4-3, so the Evolve on the Meowskers is actually fine. A lot better than just playing the Grey Wing, I think. And I think we could just set up this Featherfall. It's going to take a while for the countdown to go down, actually, but I mean, I think the game's going to be kind of long. Or unless everything's popping next turn, so if I just drop a Sofina, he probably can't deal with it. But yeah, it is going to be a Roach deck. It looks like he was playing the Accelerate stuff, so he's probably not playing Maze. So it's actually going to be pretty hard for him to deal with the Sofina board, I think. They do have Elf Queen though, which is a really good answer to the Sofina. But I mean, we've just dropped this anyways. This is like a huge amount of stats that it's going to be really hard for him to deal with. Like, even if he has an Elf Queen here, he's going to do 7 damage with the pings. I have 19 health. So, like, that's not going to be enough for him. But let's see how he deals with it. Next turn we have Goddess as well, which will pull my last Sofina from my deck, and a Grey Wing. I actually don't think this was the correct to play, because when I think about it, like going into Goddess, that takes up so much board space. So playing this, this takes so long to count down, so maybe it's not worth it after a certain point. So Evolve Roach isn't going to do much. Look at all the resources he has to use to just deal with that one follower. And I still have this. So I could just play another Sofina, actually. So the reason why the second Sofina would be really good here is that it busts all my followers up to an odd stat. And that makes it so he has to hit these 3 times, rather than before where he only needed 2. So that's like a pretty good option for me. The other option would be like Goddess here. Goddess isn't good. Yeah, this is actually my best option. I could go Grey Wing, but yeah, I think this is still better. We'll evolve to Sofina, so it's just kind of harder to deal with. But I have 2 Sofinas anyway, so Yeah, I'm not going to play the second comp fair, folks. Just too much clunk. You're just going to see. Yeah, this is like way too thick for Forest to handle.